I was at the chief administrative officer of St. Vincent Hospital on 11th Avenue and 7th Avenue and 11th Street on 9/11. And I was, as the chief administrative officer of the organization, the chief executive was not in the building when the towers came down. We had the most patients because we were the closest level 1 trauma center. I knew our trauma center team was well prepared because we had taken care of patients from the First World Trade Center bombing, a number of other activities. And so that was going to run smoothly. What we weren't prepared for as much was the influx of worldwide media that descended upon us immediately. And I, having a communications background, took over the media relations right from the second hour on and literally had to, for next 6 weeks, handle all of the media aspects of that event. Not only the 856 patients who came to us and their families, the 6,000 families who registered looking for their loved ones, and the weeks and weeks of media work that was done after that. And then taking that experience, and as Larry talks about the people process and the strategy process and the operations process, utilizing that to help other healthcare organizations around the country and around the world to become prepared for the next events, which sadly over these last 18 years have happened time and time again. So being prepared for traumatic events and operationalizing what you've learned and taught really works well. And the other experience I remember that I think I really got to utilize these processes was Pope Benedict's visit to the United States. I was very blessed to be asked by Cardinal Egan to run the visit in the Archdiocese of New York and at the United Nations. And we had 8 months to plan and prepare and execute. And so, Larry, I hadn't read your book yet, but I think you'll appreciate this story. We literally picked the best people possible. We were fortunate to have whatever resources we need, the Secret Service, the FBI, the New York City Police, all who thought they were better than each other at doing what they did. And the advance team from the Vatican coming in, the first meeting I'll never forget in His Eminence's conference room, saying, well, we need 3 Chinook helicopters, and we need the president's helicopter and the president's limousine, and the people from the White House looking with great astonishment and saying, well, excuse us, we have to make a phone call, coming back a moment later and saying, President Bush has said, whatever you need, you will have.
Nice.
But the team that we assembled in the Archdiocese and from the Archdiocese of Washington came together, put together an incredible plan. You have to remember this was just 7 years after 9/11. We were able to seat 108,000 people at 8 different venues over 3 days, get everyone to submit their name, address, and social security number if they wanted a ticket so they could be vetted, and arrange for the buses for all those people to go in and out, and New York City to come to a standstill when it needed to for the Holy Father. It all came together. We had great people, and the strategy worked, and from an operational perspective, it all came together. So with the grace of God, we were fortunate enough and I was blessed to have the opportunity to run that operation and for all of Larry's strategy and planning processes to come together and work.
Great stories, Mark. Fantastic witness, certainly, to not only the principles that Larry puts in place, but to great communication and organization on your part. I'm sure that experience is serving you well now as the new CEO of the Long Island Catholic Foundation. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I once again am overly blessed with a new opportunity that His Excellency and the board of the new Catholic Community Foundation of Long Island have given to me. I worked for almost over 20 years in the faith-based world, and then 10 years for an organization called Lighthouse International for the blind and visually impaired, and then was given an opportunity, kind of, in my mind, a capstone of my career, perhaps for the next 10 years, to operationalize a new foundation here on Long Island. As His Excellency is wont to say, the Diocese of Rockville Centre does a lot of amazing things. Fundraising has not been one of them. We've underperformed pretty dramatically. We are very blessed to have a very diverse community here, 2 counties that are incredible, and some of the wealthiest people in the world living in these counties. But we're also in a unique situation in that one of the most famous archdioceses in the world is just a few counties away. And most of these people who live here work in the Archdiocese of New York. And by virtue of that, they're on the boards of Catholic Charity in the Archdiocese or the Inner City Scholarship Fund. And God bless them all, the Cardinals of New York have been incredible at getting significant philanthropy out of people who live in this Diocese of Rockville Centre. His Excellency, when he came to the diocese 2 years ago, decided to operationalize this foundation, which had been actually put together by his predecessor, but not operationalized. And the board put together a search. I was very blessed to have been asked to come on board and get things started. And we worked with the bishop and his team, Tom Ranker in particular, his chief operating officer and chief counsel, to really make this a unique foundation. Only one other that Brian and I are aware of in the United States that is an independent foundation. We are designed by and run by the faithful of Nassau and Suffolk County, New York. And thus we call ourselves the Catholic Community Foundation because we truly are run by the Catholic community. We have a membership corporation that is very important to us, but it is the majority of those individuals are lay people, and the chair of that board is a lay person. And then our fiduciary board will be 21 people, 20 of whom will be lay people, and the officers of the corporation and the chairperson will be lay people. Because this is an entity brought together by the Catholic faithful to raise money to be utilized for the Catholic ministries here in Nassau and Suffolk County, New York. We will have the opportunity to raise significant philanthropy for Catholic charities, for Catholic education, for Catholic healthcare, for new evangelization, all of the ministries of the diocese, and bringing that powerful case together with an incredible laity and a wonderful board that we are just starting to grow now. Bishop was talking a little while ago about bringing together people from all areas. We are trying to be culturally diverse. We're trying to be gender diverse on our board. We're trying to have people who want to support the work of the Diocese of Rockville Centre. These are challenging times to raise money in the Catholic Church. There's no question. But there are dedicated and committed Catholic faithful who want to continue and rebuild the work of the church. And so we, just in the first few months, I will admit I got some wide eyes when I went to my first board meeting in December, Bishop, and you may remember this. I said, I just want you to know it's my opinion that to be on this board, anyone who sits on this board should plan on giving or getting a minimum of $100,000 a year for us. If you can't come to that level of working with us to help raise that kind of money, thank you, but we really need to find people who can do that. And to a person, they have all done that. Two of them have already committed $1 million each, and in our first few months, and we're working with another major benefactor on a very significant commitment right now. So we're fortunate. We've hit the ground running. We're starting to build a board that's going to be really powerful and helpful to us. We are going to bring some of that philanthropy and keep it here at home in the Diocese of Rockville Centre. And we're also, through Brian Crimmins' efforts working with us, going to be a harbor for donor-advised funds. And so the Catholic Community Foundation donor-advised funds will bring Catholic wealth together. We'll be able to invest it for them, make sure we are good shepherds for their resources, and we will continue to work to grow an incredible endowment that will help the Diocese of Rockville Centre continue and grow as this Catholic community grows.